Bunzerelly Show.
Please don't hate me, 'cause I still love you. I still love you. Please don't push me away, 'cause I still want you, and I still wanna see you tonight. Wanna see you tonight.
Okay, we got a special episode today. One of the things that I really enjoy are people that are passionate about their craft. And this guy is no exception. You may have seen him on iTunes or YouTube, but we have artist, musician, Nolan Alex on the line with us. Nolan, how are you doing?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Great, so great to have you here. Nolan, how did you get your start in music?
I've been doing music since I was a little kid, so ever since I was young, I guess I've just always kind of done it. As I kind of got older, around like 15, 16 years old, I started, my friend gave me this music program, and I just started making beats and things like that. And before I knew it, I just started making my own music. A couple years later, on my 18th birthday, I dropped my first album, and ever since then, I've just been doing music.
So starting at a young age, 18. Now, who were your influences? Who were the people that made you decide you wanted to get into this industry and be a musician?
I mean, growing up, I kind of always had a large variety of different types of music that I would listen to. I would go from listening to gospel music to, Michael Jackson, and then, Tupac. Definitely, though, I look up big time to Michael Jackson, just the energy he had in music. It was pretty inspirational. But what's funny is, more modern-wise, Chris Brown was the one who really got me into the idea that you can sing on a hip-hop track, because I always liked, hip-hop R&B music, but I always thought, you can't do that if you're a singer. And, when I first kind of heard his music, I realized, oh, you can do that. It is possible, and it sounds good. So, from there, that kind of inspired me to try, that type of style of music while singing on a record. And ever since then, I've just kind of been evolving my sound.
I tell you, you got my attention when you said Tupac. I do like that influence, that hip hop influence in the R&B and the singing. I've always been a big fan of of that kind of that style of production, the Dr. Dre's,
yeah,
your Kanye West and kind of stuff. I mean, there is a definite art to that, and what those guys came from, it's just really inspiring. Especially Tupac. I mean, one of the things about Tupac was just his ability to, the story behind why there was so much music after he died was because he was pretty much the definition of hustle. Because I had watched an interview with him, and he would just go hit the studio and just be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to spit these rhymes and just go in there every day, just crank them out, and let the other guys make the beats and the music. And really, you take that, and a lot of that goes to, first of all, Tupac was brilliant as a rapper, but the production work, because Tupac was so hot, he attracted those hot producers even after his death, and that's why there were so many songs after. But yeah, that's very interesting that you brought up Tupac. You got my attention with that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I grew up listening to all kinds of music, and definitely with Tupac, I mean, it was so different at the time, and I mean, rap has changed a lot over the years, and you can always go back to Tupac and always find good tunes to listen to, and you can definitely appreciate, the type of music he put out, and the soul he put into his raps and the rhymes and everything.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, it was art. They were telling a story. It was great stuff. When you actually put a song together, what goes into the creation of a song? More or less, what is the process, and where does the seed of the song start with you?
I mean, it's kind of changed, honestly, over the years. On my first album, it always started off with a beat that I was given, because when I first started, I couldn't really make good beat to use, so I had to pay other people to do it. And so for a long time, I would just write over the beats that I, purchased. But over time, as I've learned to produce my own music, it's become less about the beat and more about the song. And I often write a lot, I think a lot, so often I'll come up with these ideas, I'll be going through things, feel some type of way, be fighting with a girl or something, and I'll write that down, and I'll write down the ideas that come in my head, and often later I'll be working on something in my studio, and I'll just kind of put the idea that I'd written down, who knows how long ago, and I'll be like, oh, this fits it. I mean, I just put out a song not too long ago called Tonight. I mean, I wrote that song years ago, back when I had like my first ever girlfriend, and we were fighting. And it was a song that I wrote probably almost four years ago, I want to say, and it just now got released. So it's different writing process for sure now. Now it's more about finding the right time to which I can put the right lyrics with the right beat.
Mm-hmm. So would you say the experience comes before the actual beat?
Yeah, I mean, my writing style has changed a lot for sure. I didn't honestly used to have a lot of passion in my lyrics. It used to just be more about what kind of rhymed with the word before.
Mm-hmm.
And over time, it's kind of become less about that and more about what's tugging on my heart and, what I really care about. And, at the end of the day, it's my music, and music's kind of become more of a way for me to get a lot of emotions that are held inside out. And it's kind of like my therapy in a way.
I could understand that, and it's, if you're engaged in what you're doing, it comes out sincere. If people buy into you're believing what you're saying, then it makes your music true. So I respect that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's funny because, a lot of people think that I'm writing about certain people. I'm not. I don't do that. I actually write less about people and more about situations that I'm in and how I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people will ask me, what's this song that you just put out about? What girl is that about?
Yeah.
It's like, it's not about any of them. It's, I can't even tell you honestly. I've been in so many situations. I just write how I'm feeling when I'm in that situation, and then I find it later on, and it just fits the timing, and I'll just put it out. I mean, sometimes I don't even remember when I wrote it or what it was about. I just know that I'm going through it again, so I'm going to put this out now.
So it's more about capturing a feeling than, you're not calling anybody out. You're reliving a true feeling. For sure.
I mean, I'm not here to bash on anybody. I'm not trying to hate on anybody. I'm just trying to put out music that, music is a vibe at the end of the day. I mean, how something makes you feel and having it connect with people. I mean, all that kind of stuff matters. And so I just, take how I'm feeling, and I write it down, and I find the right vibe for it, and I put it out.
What do you think about what's going on in the music industry now, both good and bad? What do you like and what don't you like?
I honestly, there's a lot of hatred for modern music nowadays. I definitely see on the internet people talking about how music's dead, and everything's just auto-tuned and nothing's real anymore. But honestly, being someone who makes music nowadays, there's a lot of complications that go into it, and there's a lot of, artistically speaking, you can hear a lot of things that artists are doing that is honestly impressive. I get it that, we have technology that we didn't have back then, so people feel like talent isn't as real anymore, especially when they see their favorite artists perform live and they don't sound the same as they did in the record. And I think musicians haven't gotten worse over the years. I think they've just changed how they make music. It's no longer, you no longer have the same limitations that you did, 20, 30 years ago. So now that you don't have those limitations, now it's how can you take this technology and make the best craft with it? Make something crazy that no one's ever heard. I think that's what's really cool about music nowadays. But I also think, music's changed in ways that's also not a good thing. I think that a lot of artists nowadays that are coming up are, in a way, lazy, and it's almost like they're not giving their all into the track. They're just trying to make something that hits once. You don't have a lot of iconic artists anymore. You just have a lot of one-hit wonders now that just put out a song that was popular because the internet made it popular.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk to these electronic forms of music, a lot of the production that's in hip-hop and your R&B, my personal opinion with the backlash is because I believe there is a talent to it. I believe it is a craft. I think some of it because of the way it was first presented when it was first happening. I think a lot of that doesn't present well live. Like the best example I could think of was there was Saturday Night Live, because I love Snoop Dogg, I love the Dr. Dre, I love the Tupac, all that stuff. I remember on Saturday Night Live, Snoop Dogg made an appearance, and they're just rapping over a track. Now, Snoop Dogg writes all his raps, and he wrote Dre's lyrics. I mean, this was awesome stuff, but it just does not translate live. It's not the same feeling as a physical instrument live. I'm not saying that it's less talent. I'm just saying the way it's put out, some things don't work on stage as well as they do in other visual concepts like a YouTube or a music video kind of stuff.
Yeah. And, well, what I think about it is, I've seen artists before that, instead of just putting that track on play and singing to it, or even for that matter, lip syncing to it, I've seen artists go and kind of recreate the track to be more of a live performance, use more natural instruments for the live performance for purposes of that it would actually match its environment. And, as an artist, I've thought a lot about that. When I write nowadays, I think a lot about how I could turn this song for a live performance. Because I think once you're done with a song, how it's translated everywhere matters. It's not that final mix that everyone's just going to hear forever. When you perform that live, you can do things to the song to change it up and make it different and make it a different experience for everybody. And I think those kind of things make you stand out as an artist, that you're not just throwing a beat on a loop.
I think it also shows that you care more about the song as well. You're not just turning, burning music videos and making them, that's the difference between a guy that's passionate about his craft and a guy that's just flipping songs and getting his one hit.
Yeah.
What are you working on right now, Nolan? What's your current projects these days?
I've just been kind of doing a lot of things, honestly. I have a lot of music that I'm currently sitting on, and I'm constantly changing mixes and things like that. I'm having a song actually come out in about a month or two. It's going to be my next song to be called Better, and it's featuring a talented artist. I'm excited about that. But other than that, it's all about timing for me. It's not that I don't have content to put out. It's rather, is it the right time to put it out? Is this, the time that everyone should be hearing this? And, for all I know, some of the tracks I have won't be released for another year or two, or even possibly longer. It's all about timing at the end of the day, when I feel it's right for that track to be put out, and, when I think people are going to really connect with it at its best.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're definitely passionate about your craft, Nolan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, ever since I was young, music's kind of always mattered to me. I think God put it out in my heart for a reason. And, no matter where I am, I'm always just thinking about a beat or thinking about music, or, how I could translate this into music. And I think I can really express myself in my best when I'm, in that booth singing.
I mean, this kind of bounces off the last question, but you're sitting on things and you're kind of like, you're passionate about your music. You're trying to release things when it's right for you. So that's in the short run, but in the long run, what are your plans for the future? Like, where would you like to see yourself in 5 years?
In 5 years, I mean, I think at the end of the day, music really does matter to me, but I think the most important thing is that, I'm happy, that I'm honoring God, and that I'm just doing what I love. And I'd love to be doing music and getting paid for it. I mean, that's honestly my dream, and it's something that I chase every single day. And, if I can do that and have my loved ones around me, I think I'll be a happy guy.
That's great, Nolan. This has been very insightful, and, we wish you the best here. It's really been a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, for sure. And I appreciate you guys following me. It's always fun to get to talk to new people and express my love for music.
Listen, anybody listening, if they wanted to find you, where should they go?
Yeah, on Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat, I'm at Nolan Alex with one extra X. And on Apple Music, Spotify, Google Play, just type in Nolan Alex, and all my content will come up.
Awesome. Okay, yeah, and we'll definitely put some links up on the episode description at Bunzerelly.com. We're going to play Nolan's latest track, Gone. This has been the Bunzerelly Show. It's been great talking to you guys.
Take care.
it's always the same situation. Was doing all fine till I saw you. Heard you made it for yourself a reputation. Every guy say just trying to cut through, but they don't know just who you are and what you really do. I must admit, you had me fooled till I saw right through you. She had me going crazy, giving her all my all when I had nothing at all. Delirious from all the heartache that she left me with. But I ain't gonna cry about no, even though she did me wrong. But don't expect me to come back, 'cause baby I'm gone. Together, not gonna lose myself to pleasure, and maybe one day I'll know better, but till then I'll just forget her. And now she got me second guessing this, about to lose all my consciousness. She CO2 and I'm in need of oxygen. I can't do this again. She had me going crazy, giving her all my all when I had nothing at all. Delirious from all the heartache that she left me with. But I ain't gonna cry about no, even though she did me wrong. But don't expect me to come back, 'cause baby I'm